All right, let's see why Morphologis is upset.
By now, you guys have probably already heard the news. The next big patch for Star Citizen 4.0 with Pyro, the new star system, and server meshing has been delayed once again. And this won't be a surprise to many of you long-term backers who have developed a healthy sense of pessimism like me, something I wish I hadn't developed at all, and it's making me start to lose a bit of hope in the project. And no, before you ask, I'm not joining the Star Citizen refunds Reddit just yet. I'm a bit far from that. I've not lost all hope in the project, but with the CitizenCon last year that I attended, having so much hype in it, with all the features they showed off, getting us excited about what was coming and talking about how it was going to come in the next 12 months, it's hard to stay excited when they've delivered maybe 50% of what they talked about, if I'm being generous. What we've had so far in 2023 is the 3.23 patch. That's what we've got delivered to the live environment, and it contained mostly Squadron 42 polish, which is great and much needed, but ultimately not gameplay that transforms the experience of Star Citizen into something that's more like a game. And this is not coming just from me, guys. This is coming from Richard Tyrer, the now head of Star Citizen's development.
When I look at Star Citizen itself, it's a concatenation of a lot of features and a lot of content. I want it to be a cohesive experience that is all tied together. Now, don't get me wrong, we have a lot of gameplay already in the game, but it's in isolated pockets. But I want the connections. I want the interwebbing. That's the difference between features and content and a game.
So it's something that they acknowledged themselves, and it didn't even deliver everything that was originally on the cards for it. If you recall, the cargo and inventory updates were originally planned to release with 3.23, but got pushed back and back and back until they eventually decided to make it its own .x designation for some reason, even though this patch that's still in PTU now after 2 months only contains basically one major feature, the cargo update, which is part of the inventory changes. And in my view, no matter how I look at it, Star Citizen has only delivered then essentially one patch so far in 2023, and again, nothing that really transforms the game. So where then is the acceleration in development that we expected this year from teams switching over from Squadron 42 to Star Citizen? Where are the bespoke Star Citizen features that push the MMO forward to becoming a real game, to create gameplay loops, to create reasons to want to log in and play the game every single day? So it should come as no surprise then that I'm not the only one losing a bit of hope, losing a bit of interest in Star Citizen. It seems to me that the wider gaming community also shares this view and this feeling.
First off, don't let this shit fool you. The same reason Morph's doing it is the same reason most of these people are doing it, because it gets the clicks, it gets the views, and it gets them paid. Pretty much. I mean, at the end of the day, it's more about monetizing you than anything else. Really.
Feeling about the game, and this is something that can really affect Star Citizen's development in the future. It could really hurt the project. Now, I know some of you guys will just say I'm being a Debbie Downer, I'm being a negative Nancy, I'm being a doomer. But the thing is that if I look at my own statistics on my YouTube channel and new views coming in to watch Star Citizen content, it's that it's lower than it's ever been since.
And what you're going to notice is those who really aren't fans of Star Citizen that give you Star Citizen content are going to stop giving you as much Star Citizen content because they're worried about the clicks and the views and the money from those clicks and views. Pay really close attention to that. If you're serious Star Citizen fans, pay attention to the content creators you watch. If they stop releasing the same amount of Star Citizen videos just because of this falling interest right now, which they are primarily the problem. I mean, like a lot of the voicing up and this like cranky kind of tantrum bullshit that you're seeing from all these people because they're not getting paid the same amount of money anymore. That's why they put up these like crazy, like, oh my God, this is late and that's late. Shit, we've been doing this 10 plus years. Shit's late all the time with this game. When is the last time anything's been on time with this motherfucking thing? For real. You know, if truly you're that upset about it, go grab another title player, go outside, touch some fucking grass, for God's sake. I just don't get this, other than the fact that the 100% fact of the matter is these people get paid off of views, off of clicks. And if they're not getting the same views and clicks because things are taking a long time to get and the interest does wane, then they start bitching about it and they try and come up with something even like crazier clickbait bullshit, like crazier titles, like, oh, that one didn't get the same views. Let me really blow this shit up and let me just fucking, you know, like that. And then it drives other people to do the same thing because they're like, oh, well, Morphologis got like 100,000 views on one he was angry on. I think I'm going to try a video where I'm getting angry because maybe I'll get that kind of views and maybe I'll get that Morphologis type of money. You know what I mean? Like it's just a fucking self-perpetuating cycle, man. It's ridiculous, this fucking YouTube game that these content creators play, man. One thing I've always done is just focus on Star Citizen because I'm a fan. I can give a fucking shit if my Star Citizen videos that I have here have 1 view, 100 views, 1,000 views, 10,000 views. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm a fan. I'll cover it if it has 1 view. I'll cover it if it has 10 views. If the views start to go down on it, it concerns me a little bit, but only because of the game itself, not because of like, oh no, now I'm not making the same money off of Star Citizen videos, man. Like that's, I would say like 75, 80%. I'm not even fucking lowballing this. This is probably a moderate estimate here. 75 to 80% of people that are doing like Star Citizen coverage on this are primarily not even playing the game and worried just about the fucking views and the clicks and the monetization. I don't even think they fucking play the game. Like that's the craziest thing about this whole fucking thing. And I'm, you know, obviously Morph plays. I'm not talking about Morph, but I'm just saying in general, this whole space is filled with frauds, man. Filled with it.
I even started covering the project 6 years ago. And while I'm ready to accept that I am a bad YouTuber and my YouTube channel is dying and maybe I should just quit, if I look at the CCU game, which covers data collected from the Star Citizen website, it seems like it's also matching my statistics in new citizens. Now, if you just look at it for funding, you might be deceived into thinking that Star Citizen is doing very well this year, that funding is covering up the issues with adding new developers to the game to help accelerate the project's development. But if you look at new backers, well, you'll realize that there's far fewer new people coming in since 2020. And those
that is concerning. That's actually a concerning figure, but not as concerning as revenues falling. Money speaks volumes. The more important figure for Cloud Imperium, for Chris, are those revenues. They're more concerned about revenues than anything else. Concurrent players, obviously, very, very important to keep the player base up because of the adoption. But more importantly for these guys is the revenues. That's why I always say, if you're upset at the lack of progress or whatever, if you're upset with Star Citizen, just apply the pressure by not pledging. Don't spend your money. That's how you apply pressure on them. I've been saying this so often. You think it would be like common sense. It's crazy.
Smaller numbers are spending more and more money. G have been pushing more and more ship sales to try to cover the losses in new players. The point of this exercise is not to create a video that brings people down about Star Citizen, that makes it feel like things are going in the wrong direction. Instead, what I'm trying to do here is try to help create a real sense of urgency with getting Star Citizen to a better point for CIG. That the feeling that I have and that perhaps some of you share is not an isolated feeling, that it's something that needs to be addressed by real changes in Star Citizen's development to help the project succeed. And 4.0 being pushed to the end of the year is going to be a massive blow to morale for at least my community and me personally. We know from the history of Star Citizen releases that Q4 release patches are almost always released live the following year, at least in Q1, worst case scenario, Q2. Meaning that if we go by history, 4.0 is
guys, we're hitting the wall right now. You understand? Things are going to start changing. Dynamic server meshing is up. It's next on the fucking platter. Dynamic server meshing was always going to be difficult. This is tech. Not like dynamic server meshing, like everybody, because this is what I get. Oh, but DG, dynamic server meshing's been around forever. What are you talking about? Not the way they planned to create this tech. It's an evolution. They want to literally code it, network engineer it, so that it goes directly after player population areas, so that it can zone off areas smartly, intelligently, and seamlessly. This isn't like a big expanding grid like what AOC is doing. That's a completely type of different dynamic server mesh. This is a very fucking intelligent way to go after player bases and big areas of player population and to zone them out accordingly on the second, every second. This is dynamic server meshing in a evolved format. This is tech that does not exist, that Cloud Imperium is fucking pioneering the way on, and we are now at that critical juncture. We are here, ladies and gentlemen. Things will change. Things will get messy. We are at the point where it is ready to go on the platter, but is it? Oh. It's like Schrodinger's cat, man. You don't know what's under the box or not. Is it dead? Is it alive? It's right now, it's being worked on, and it's going to continue to be worked on, and it is going to be the crux of moving forward for the entire project, because everything, and I mean everything on Star Citizen hinges on this tech. And for people that don't get that, they are completely ignorant of what is going on with Star Citizen in this project. They have no fucking idea what's going on. If they just bypass it like it's something that's been done before, or they think, oh, it's not that important. Don't listen to those people. They have no fucking clue what they are talking about. This is the most important juncture of Star Citizen right now. This is it. This is for the whole enchilada right now. And things will change in terms of progress, because we are hitting right up against the point where dynamic server meshing has to happen. And they are feeling the pressure. Trust me. They are feeling that pressure. But they'll feel more pressure if you stop spending money. However, be careful what you wish for, because if you stop spending money, perhaps they won't have the money needed to create the tech that is needed. So be very careful what you wish for, right? I think personally, my view on this, I'm patient. If I see something I like, I'll pledge. If I don't need to spend anything. I'll be like, whatever. I'm going to take it real easy, real casually. I'm going to let them do what they do. Listen, for the game that I want, hey, I know some of us are getting long in the tooth, but let them poop on it to the point where you get discouraged and you say, fuck it, because then you give up. Don't give up. Put in the work. Do what you need to do in terms of like what you feel to keep the project up, prevalent, because what it will do for the gaming industry, it'll meshing out of the park, and they do this right. Holy shit. It's going to be like a huge turning point in gaming.
Probably not coming out to live until next year, Q1 or midway through 2025. So my problem is that I don't know what to look forward to right now. 4.0 seems far too distant to start thinking about anymore, and now I want to know what we're going to get in between, if we get anything. And if it's nothing, then I'm really going to start feeling down. But I don't like making videos like this without giving some kind of constructive feedback. So here's what I think CIG could do to try to turn the situation around. And the first one is better in its current state.
Dudes, they're name me another developer out there who is consistent with content. It might not be the content you want to see, but name me. I don't see any fucking developer doing what Cloud Imperium's doing. Are you kidding me? Okay, maybe the communication inside the business where the teams are talking to one another, but fuck, I mean, come on, really?
So I'm not talking about just any kind of info. As much as I love hearing about some developer who's working on really cool parts of Star Citizen, or some personal information about how they started development, this is the kind of info I feel could be released when the project is going well, when we've got a lot of tangible content to sink our teeth into.
They're still stuck, right? I mean, like, here's the thing. They're stuck on dynamic server meshing. Fuck. Like, duh. Like, I mean, like, this is what they've been stuck on. Everybody and their sister knows this shit. Come on. What do you want them to tell us every fucking week, that they're stuck on this shit? Of course, man. Of course. Oh, here's an update. They're stuck on dynamic server meshing this week. Hey DG, what about this week? They're stuck on dynamic server meshing. Hey DG, how about next month? What about next month? They're stuck on dynamic server meshing. Hey DG, how about next year? What do you think? They might get it done next year. I don't know. They're still stuck on it, motherfucker. Jesus Christ. What do these people want? It's like, what are you going to do? It's like telling NASA in the 60s to hurry up on the fucking rocket so we can get to the moon. Like, what are you like? Come on. Come on. Why don't you get it done yet? Because we haven't invented it yet, motherfucker. We're still trying. Fuck, man. Fingers wants it before this decade is out. Yes, if it doesn't come out before 2030, I will be pissed off, Fingers. How about that? There's my deadline. I will officially be pissed off in 2030.
Not when there's a drop in interest and there's a drought in the content. They instead should focus on things that are most important about Star Citizen's development that people know about and are very interested about. For example, what's going on with the teams that have swapped over from Squadron 42? Has that transfer been complete? Or are those teams still primarily working on Squadron 42? And if so, what's the hang-up? Why are things not going as planned so far in 2024? Then what's going on with server meshing? How are things progressing? What issues are the teams currently tackling? What's the big holdup with that? Why haven't we had any
It was called Pillar Talk, and everybody called it Pillow Talk and said, fuck this shit. Which I thought was really stupid, because you had the leads. You had Pappy, you had fucking Roberts, you had Crew. You had all these guys together in one room like it was a fucking board meeting, which I thought was awesome. They might not talked about everything that you wanted, but it was called Pillar Talk. So bring back fucking Pillar Talk so we can see Chris. At the end of the day, more people want to see Chris. Chris. It's pretty simple. You want to see the guy who had the thought, the fucking drive, the heart that started it. I would say it's Chris Roberts. More Chris Roberts talking, more Chris Roberts talking with other people in the company, more Chris Roberts. So he's the fucking all-star. He's the creator. He's the owner. You want to see him around. Just step up and fucking do what you need to do, and more Chris Roberts. Let's be real here. Let's just be fucking real.
Preview channel tests like they said they were planning on doing last year. How are things going with the plans for 1.0's release? What is the 1.0 release for Star Citizen?
Coob's got a great question here. It really sums up what Morph is trying to say. And Coob says, why is it taking you so long to do what no one has ever done before? I mean, that is exactly encapsulates this discussion right now, Coob. It's ridiculous, isn't it, Coob? Hold on, give Coob his button. Pepe, give me the Coob button. Where's he at? Coob. So dead on, man. That's why this content to me is just like... It's like, let's focus our content on this newest cycle of Star Citizens to enrage them. And let's say, fuck you to the veterans. Like, this is what I feel like no offense to Morph. He's just trying to make videos. I get it. Morph, listen, dude, I get listen, this is your livelihood. This is how you're doing it. You do what you feel is right. But when I'm watching this shit, it just feels to me like this is content geared towards new citizen to get that outrage click, and then to just fucking tell all the veterans who've seen all these fucking cycles before to just go fuck off. I mean, like, it really feels like when I'm watching this that Morph is telling me just to fuck off, I don't matter, and that the only people that matter are the new enraged citizens that just joined the game a year ago. I mean, like, that's what I feel like when I watch this. It's like, okay, great. This is not designed for me.
What is a commercial release for the game going to look like? How many star systems is that going to include? What's the next star system going to be for Star Citizen after Pyro? Is it going to be in a 4.1 patch, or is it going to be...
We're getting some salad vibes in here. If I keep seeing the salad vibes emoticon, we're going to have to skip this video. That's the newest thing. It's an interactive stream. We determined this last week. The more salad vibes emoticons, you guys are catching my attention. The more salad vibes I see by a lot of people, the more we skip the video. We're going to make these more interactive, and then I'll have to press the salad vibes button and then have to go to the next one. Wow, we're getting a lot of salad vibes right off the start from when I mentioned it. All right. All right.
Warning.
Sorry,
Incoming
Morph.
salad vibes.
Sorry, Morph. You've got the giant. You got the giant hook, man. Sorry about that, Morph. We've seen this before. We've seen this fucking before.